You haven't hit $1 million in your business yet. I think one of the big reasons why that is, at least what I notice with my students who haven't yet hit $1 million, is that you find something that works, right? So you'll find a style of reel that works really well, or a way to make sales that works really well, or even works like somewhat well. And in your head, you think, oh, amazing, I'm so happy that worked. But then the part of your brain that isn't activated yet is the part where it's like, let me do that over and over and over and over and over again. So my mentor used to have this saying where it's like, it worked so well, we never did it again. And he's basically alluding to the same thing where it's like, when you do something really well, it isn't like you mastered that and you can graduate and never have to do that again. When you finally crack a code, right? Like a webinar that converts really well, or a style of emails that people respond really well to, what I observe in people who are maybe at 6 figures, but not yet at 7 figures, is that they don't understand that now that you've figured out what works, you need to pound that into the ground, for lack of a better phrase, over and over and over and over and over and over and over again until it stops working. So what that does is it allows you to stop experimenting or stop trying to figure out what works, and you finally made a breakthrough, right? Because essentially when you find a webinar that converts, or a style of reels that do really well, or a checkout page, or a product that people respond to, when you figured out something, that's your breakthrough. And so now what you need to do is take that breakthrough and repeat it over and over and over again. So when you find something that works, don't go look for something different. Figure out, how can I do this 10 times a week or 100 times a week, depending on what it is. And so it's not do different, it's do more, do more, do more, do more. Eventually it might be do better, but for most of you guys who are in the working at 6 figures, trying to get to 7 figures, once you've figured out what works, your new problem is, how can I do this over and over and over and over and over and over, way more than you think, right? You think people will unsubscribe, you think it won't be as effective. I'm continually, still to this day, shocked at how often you can repeat the same strategy, or send the same email, or post the same content and make money. And so we're over here constantly reinventing the wheel when the wheel's already been invented. We've already proven that the wheel works in our business. We're just kind of bored of the wheel. So that's why we spend all this time reinventing the wheel, because it's more interesting. So that's just something that I'm observing in my students. The students who I have that have crossed over the 7-figure mark and are making millions of dollars are the ones that are able to do the same thing over and over and over and over and over again at way more volume than they ever previously thought possible.